And now, the DRS open, heading onto the main straight. We set the fastest lap of the Grand Prix as we chase after Schwartzman. 4 tenths of a second, 3 tenths of a second. And then, oh, that's that on the brakes. That's that on the brakes. Stop the car, stop the car. Ooh. Oh, guys, we just keep it on track. Guys, that was not me trying to go for a move. That was me avoiding running into Robert Schwartzman. Turbo 51 over here. I hope you're having a splendid day wherever you are in the world. Guys, before we do anything, you have to drop a like down below on the video, because in the latest patch from Codemasters for the F1 2020 game, we have received the 2020 Formula 2 machines. And guys, if you guys followed me while I was playing F1 2019, I did 2 F2 seasons on F1 2019. I absolutely adore these cars, and they always make for fantastic racing. Now you guys can see on the screen who I'm going to go for, which team and what driver. I'm going to tell you guys, I chose between Nobuharu Matsushita, Yuki Tsunoda, Jack Aitken, and Louis Delatraz. So you guys can see who I pick. I'm actually going to leave it a bit of a surprise. But guys, before we go any further, I quickly have to apologize for something. Guys, I've been sitting with this video 3 hours longer than I should have, because you guys are going to see when we get to the racing part. I tried to do, you guys know sometimes I do like a little camera in the top left or right hand corner where I show 2 different angles of a certain scenario that's playing out. Yeah. For some other reason, no matter how I placed the second video, which is in this video, it's going to be in the top right hand corner, I couldn't get the timing to match. I would put it like when I'm busy editing the video, the timing would match. As soon as I would save the video, the timing would be about 3 seconds out. And the best thing is, I couldn't even remove it, because that is just how stupid Share Factory is. I couldn't delete it off of the video. So guys, please, there is going to be a few sections in this video where there's going to be a tiny little bit of extra footage in the top right hand corner. The sound is not going to be synced. Please just bear with that. That is not my fault. I tried to fix it. I don't even know if I did something wrong, because I don't think I did. I put it in like I normally usually do, but it still didn't work. So I do apologize for that. Please just bear with me, and let's see what happens, guys. Full F2 season, guys, not the official F2 calendar. I'm throwing my own season at this, so you guys are going to have to guess the tracks for after every race. 100% feature race, 100% sprint race, one-shot quali. It's going to be madness. It's going to be a lot of fun. Type in the comments down below right now, who do you think I'm going to choose as a driver and as a team? And without further ado, let's go see who that is. Yes, I went with my favorite driver on the F2 grid. We are driving as Nobuharu Matsushita for MP Motorsport for this 2020 self-created Formula 2 season. Guys, there's a few tracks on this calendar that the Formula 2 cars don't go to in real life, and it's going to be a lot of fun. Like I said, I hope you guys are excited. Please drop a like down below on the video, and don't forget to go check out all those links in the description down below. Give the video a shout out, and I will give you a shout out on one of my future videos, as well as on my social media. But guys, let's go around this beautiful racing facility, round number 1 at the Sakhir circuit, the Bahrain F2 weekend, and let's see where we can qualify to put our car on the grid for the feature race. Guys, here we go through the second quarter. Guys, these cars have got a little bit of turbo lag, so sometimes you won't have any power, other times the turbo will just come into boost and you will have all the power. So these cars really can be some oversteer messes at some stages. races. But we head through the fourth corner, now heading into the second sector part, very tight and twisty, and you guys can see the difference between an F1 car and an F2 car. The corner speeds are much slower due to the F2 cars having a lot less downforce than the F1 cars. Guys, also remember F2, all the cars are exactly the same. We're running 110 AI for this whole season. I don't want to, walk away with this season. I really want a challenge, but it's going to be a 15 race season, so 30 races in total, because we're going to have, remember in F2 there's a feature race, which is the long race where there is a pit stop where you have to make a pit stop, and then we've got the sprint race, which is on the hard tire from start to finish, just a bunch of action to the end, all the drivers fighting it out as hard as possible. So you guys are going to have 30 F2 races to view. I don't know about you, but that's worth dropping a like down below. That's going to be freaking fantastic. And we are driving as Nobuharu Matsushita. Heading it towards the final corner, you guys can see one-shot quali at this stage is not going very good for us. I obviously put practice in, but that's just for myself, guys. If something big doesn't happen in practice, you guys won't see it. But we're going to come across the line. It's going to be P.
As we wind down from the excitement of qualifying, here's a look at your top three: Markelov, Tictum, and Pedro Piquet. The grid is set then, so that just leaves the race itself. Join us tomorrow, where we'll be live with all the action, and until then, goodbye. Hello and welcome from the Bahrain International Circuit here in Sakhir. Down on the grid, the engineers are making their last checks, and today's race will be underway shortly. Bahrain represents an exceptional 3.36 miles of racing. Lots of opportunities to overtake throughout its 15 corners. Now, this track has a reputation for being brutal on the rear tyres, so keep an eye on how these young drivers manage their rubber. Strategy here could ultimately determine the winner of this race. Davide, you're a three-time winner around here in 1 week, I believe, back in 2012. How on earth do you make the tyres last around this racetrack? They degrade so quickly.
To be honest, the key to the race is having a good start so you can get your car into a good position. Then save the tires as much as you can and push just at the end.
We are nearly ready for the start of today's race, but in the meantime, let's take a look at the grid. Artem Markelov lines up on pole position, with Daniel Tictum alongside. Looking down the rest of the grid, we have Piquet, Aitkit, Robert Schwartzman, and Armstrong, Giotto, Lundgaard, Matsushita, Felipe Dragovic, Ilott, Alesi, Yuki Tsunoda, and Sato, Nissany, Samaya, Mazepin, and Guan Yu Zhou. Deruvala and Mick Schumacher, Delatraz, and Sean Gelael completes the grid. And with preparations almost complete, let's head down to the track.
Guys, on the grid for this F2 feature race, and if I were you, I'd listen to that little kitty. Go down below, hit the subscribe down below. Don't forget to ding that bell to never miss a future episode. The kitty knows what she is talking about, She's a smart one. But guys, it's going to be an action-packed race. I'm going for the contrast strategy from the hards to the mediums. I want to end off a little bit quicker, especially when the car's lighter on fuel. And guys, this is going to be awesome. I am so hyped for this. And from me already driving the F2 cars, I can tell you guys, these cars are absolutely phenomenal to drive. You guys are in for a treat, so without further ado, jam with me. feature race as we start our F2 2020 season in Bahrain at the Sakhir circuit. Once again, I apologize for the timing of the top right little screen that is not linked, well, not synced with the main footage. It's not my fault. I don't know what the hell went wrong, but we are off and away for the F2 2020 season. Personally created F2 2020 season. It is Dan Ticktum, Artem Markelov, and Jack Aitken fighting away for the lead. At this stage, Dan Ticktum has got the best of Markelov, who started in the lead. Jack Aitken is at P3 with Pedro PK in P4. Robert Schwartzman is at I'm gonna suck with these F2 names. Is at P5, and in P6 it seems like it is one of the what's the cars? Not the HP cars, the high-tech cars. We go back to our POV, guys, and oh my great goodness that we have a gander. Look at that, 1, 2, 3, the 4 positions lost. Guys, I really need to practice my launches in these F2 cars. They are much harder to launch than the F1 cars. And the thing is, it's got more assists than the F1 car to launch. It is damn hard to launch this thing. The tires are so sticky that at the beginning of a race, these cars don't have enough power they have enough power to spin the wheels, but not enough to keep the momentum. So if you just leave the throttle a little too much, you bog. And you guys can see there with the turbo lag also within that, I bogged completely, and all the other cars just shot away from me. But luckily, into the first corner, we made a massive dive bomb, and we are up again about 4-5 positions. So we lost 4, gained 5. So at the end of it all, we gained 1 position heading into the first corner. That is how it's done. That's pathetic, but it's okay. You guys can see a Callum Ilott and Luca Giotto fighting nicely here. The Uni Virtuosi versus the high-tech car. Is it going to be Giotto or Ilott coming out on top for this little scrap? It looks like at this stage it's going to be Callum Ilott in the red and black Uni Virtuosi car. Come on, Giotto, can you hold it around the outside? No, he cannot. And right behind them, it is Christian Lundgaard in one of the ARTs. So that is how things stand at this stage, guys. It is Ticktum leading the way from Markelov P2, Aitken P3, PK P4, Schwartzman P5, Armstrong P6, and then I think it's myself in P7. So, or somebody's in P7, I might be P8. So we'll see now. But Dan Ticktum for Dams is leading the way, and it is going to be a juicy one, guys, if the race has started this action-packed, and we'll see what happens for the rest of this race. Now we jump on board with Pedro PK in P4, coming down the final backstraight, heading in towards the final corner. PK is trying to put Jack Aitken under pressure, and oh no! That is the worst possible way to start your season. Pedro PK's F2 Dalara's engine has just said kaput, and that is Pedro PK out of the race. That's 1 free position for ourselves, and Pedro PK will officially be starting the sprint race from P20 on the grid. Now you guys can see here, this is actually Nikita Mazepin going for a move on Roy Nassani, if I'm not mistaken. Mazepin gets the move done right on the inside of Nassani, and that is a beautiful move from the second high-tech driver, who is way behind his teammate Giotto. Now we jump on board with Guan Yu Zhou in the second Uni Virtuosi car, also very far behind his teammate Callum Ilott in the red and black Uni Virtuosi car. Here comes here comes Guan Yu on the inside of Roy. Who's going to get the move done? Will Roy decide to defend, or will Zhou get the move done? Guan Yu Zhou gets the move done, and he is now, I'm not sure, guys, this is fighting for the wooden spoon. And also, Mick Schumacher had an absolute gander in qualifying. He started P20 on the grid, and I think this is the move for P20. He actually lost positions on the first lap. So that is now Mick Schumacher, as far as my knowledge goes, up into P20. That is sad. His teammate Robert Schwartzman is in P5, and he's fighting down in P20. It's just a little sad. We're back on board with Dan Ticktum, guys, and Ticktum is diving into the pit lane. That was a little bit of a lock-up heading into the pit lane. Dan Ticktum is really on it, guys. He wants this dub. He's followed by Jack Aitken as well, as I think that's Robert Schwartzman behind them for the Prima crew. We'll see here with Ticktum's pit stop whether it's Schwartzman that's coming past him, heading into the Prima garage. And yes, that is Robert Schwartzman. So here we go. Ticktum is out ahead of Aitken. Beautiful stop there from the Dams boys. And as you guys can see, the F2 pit stops are a lot slower than F1 pit stops. You've only got one mechanic per wheel, and then you've got your front jack, your rear jack, and that little guy holding the red board, which is basically the light you have at the top of the F1 pit lane. pit box, where the red light means you don't move, the green light means you can exit your pit box. Yeah, basically that little guy holding the red board, that is your yes or no, because on that little board there's a red light and a green light. So yeah, there's little LEDs. Here you guys can see the leader, Artem Markelov, diving into the pit lane, and once again, I'm sorry that the top right hand corner's timing is about, guys, I think it's about 2 to 3 seconds behind the top right hand corner. I do apologize, I didn't mean for that to happen. It just, I don't know what happened, but I'm not going to apologize for it again. There is one more sequence where that little top right hand corner will be in play. Just remember that it's a few seconds behind, and for the final time, I am really sorry. You guys can see, because I've gone for the contrast strategy and because I started the race on the hard tires, we are now in the lead of the race, but we still have to make a pit stop. And here are the two drivers fighting for the net lead, Markelov and Tictum. And when the pit stop started, Tictum was in the lead, but Markelov made the overcut work for himself, and Markelov is now into P2, the net race lead of this feature race for the Bahrain F2 weekend. Guys, you can't say Monaco, like in F1, the Grand Prix, because there's two races here. You talk about the Bahrain feature race and the Bahrain sprint race, but we'll just talk about the Bahrain F2 weekend, or whichever track we go to, or whichever country we go to that specific country's F2 weekend. Okay guys, you guys can see.
Great work. That's a new fastest lap of the race.
Thank you, Jeff. Guys, that was us ending off lap 14 and going fastest on track. But now let's see if actually Markelov can go quicker than me. Because guys, remember, they are on the same tire as me now, just my tires are a lot older. In F2, all the tires are a lot more damaging than the newer tires. But if I can match Markelov, that's not a bad thing. He goes a 142.6. Okay, that is 0.4 of a second quicker than myself. So we now go ahead to lap 17. We are still not coming in for a pit stop, and we are actually keeping a gap to Markelov between 22 and 23 seconds, which is good. I'm really strong in the first and second sector, but Markelov eats me for breakfast in the third sector with those high-speed corners where more grip it helps you so much more. And guys, now let's go on board here for a lap of ourselves, driving as Nobuharu Matsushita. You guys can see that Markelov now dips into the 21 seconds of being behind me, and he just sets another fastest lap of the race. We go purple first sector on. You guys can see these hards are not fresh anymore, but they've still got a nice amount of life left in them. But that front left tire is really hurting. And for those of you guys wondering why I'm not holding up, say, my fuel and my ERS and all those things like when with the F1, guys, these cars don't have any fancy fuel mixers. You have your normal engine mode, and there's no electrical power. So literally, it's about how good the driver is and how good you can tune your car. That's gonna be what makes the difference in the races. Your driving capabilities and your tuning capabilities. So tuning and driving in F2 it's super important. But you guys can see it's just to a certain aspect better, more important than in F1, but not completely, just in certain aspects. But in any case, you got to see we went purple first sector, green middle sector, and we keep that gap to Markelov between 21.9 and 22.1 seconds. And heading now through the final corner, it's this third sector where I can feel that front left is just screaming in pain because I have to rely so much on that front left tire. We now head towards the line. Can we beat the fastest lap? No, we don't, but we do a 42.3. So you guys can see how much my Markelov is pushing me and how I know I need to match him. We now jump on board with Luca Giotto, who's under pressure from Markelov's teammate, and I'm not going to lie to you guys, I can't remember who is Markelov's teammate. I'm sorry about that. These F2 drivers, there's 32 drivers. I already know all the F1 drivers and a bunch of other sports drivers and riders because I watch motorcycles as well. But yeah, if I forget a driver now and then, it's not the worst thing in the world. We now jump back on board with ourselves at the end of lap 19, guys. We've had 19 laps on these hard tires. And guys, remember, I'm doing 100% sprint feature race and 100% sprint race. This is how the proper F2 season would be if they go to all these tracks that we are going to. This is how long the races would be if you guys literally watch lap after lap after lap after lap. So, into the pit lane we go. We are the only car on the grid that went for the contrast strategy. Off with the hards, on with the mediums, and we drop the car. We go. It's a 6.3 second pit stop. Not the worst. I've had a 5.9, 5.8 second pit stop, but still not the worst thing in the world. Guys, look, I'm not racing Markelov and Tictum, but I'm racing Aitken, Schwartzman, Armstrong, and Callum Eilert. And also my teammate, Dragovic, who is in the other MP Motorsport car, is also just a little bit behind, but he is, I want him to try and catch up to Callum Eilert. We come out between Armstrong and Eilert, so I am ahead of Eilert like I was before these guys came in for their pit stop. And guys, also an interesting thing about the F2 cars, I'm sure you guys have saw with the F1 cars, they've got like tire blankets. Like you guys see when I usually head into qualifying, there's almost these bags around the tires. Now those bags warm up the tires. They're called the tire blankets because of heating up the tires. For those of you guys that don't know, in motorsport, your tires operate at a certain temperature to have the best possible performance. If they overheat, you don't have grip. If they're too cold, you don't have grip. Now, in F2, there is no such thing as tire blankets. So when your car receives that brand new set of tires, yes, they're new tires, but they are bone-chilling cold. So you have to weave on the track and take corners a little bit more aggressively, take a risk by taking the corner aggressively to heat up your tires. So sometimes the overcut in Formula 2 works better than the undercut, because with a guy who's trying to undercut first has to warm up his tires, and that can cost you 1, 2, sometimes even 3 seconds a lap depending on the track, because cold tires are horrendous. Now you guys saw that Robert Schwartzman made a move on Jack Aitken when I made a move on Marcus Armstrong behind me. Is it Marcus? I'm not sure. If I get that wrong, I am sorry. You guys can see I am now setting my target on Aitken, who is really struggling in this final part of the race. You guys can see through the first quarter I hold a little bit back, but now we go side by side with Jack Aitken heading up the hill. We open up DRS for the second DRS detection zone. We are on the outside, but we've got better and fresher rubber on our wheels. Here we go around the outside. Jack is trying to pinch me to the outside. I am forced to bounce my car over that curb. Now we've got the inside for the next spot, outside for the following, but Aitken just can't keep his nose in there. The grip is just not there for him anymore, and that is us now up into P4 of this Bahrain feature race. That was a beautiful move. Let's take a look at this one more time. We just get the exit with the better grip. We can put the power down a lot earlier than Aitken. Side by side heading up the hill, and now here around the outside, I think the replay is going to jump here. Sorry guys about that. Once again, freaking wonky PlayStation. But still, side by side, so close to touching there, but we get the move done. And now we quickly fast forward to the end of that lap. And now this is also a few of the guys fighting a little bit further backwards. And in the pit lanes, Roy Nassani, who was under a lot of pressure earlier this race, this is Marino Sato. Sorry guys, this is Marino Sato, the teammate of Roy Nassani. He is actually fighting with the second BWT Arden, the pink car, as well as with the other Campos racing car, which is Jack Aitken's teammate. And Sato is trying to make a move here, but he just seems to be stuck in this DRS train. But he is incapable of making a move just yet. Now we rewind back. Basically a full lap. No, a lap and a bit. Okay, don't worry. Let's say we would rewind back half a lap. We are now on board with Louis Delatraz, who is actually putting pressure on the man we just talked about, Roy Nassani. Now, Delatraz around the outside. Delatraz is one of the drivers that I kept in mind to race as for this 2020 F2 season. But guys, I just absolutely adore Nobuharu Matsushita, and I had to go for it. It was actually between Matsushita, Delatraz, and Aitken. But of all the cars, the Charus, which Delatraz is driving, the white, maroon, and blue car, that is to me the prettiest F2 car for this season. I like Louis Delatraz a lot, but then I like Matsushita a lot, and MP Motorsport, I don't mind driving for them. All the F2 cars are exactly the same. It's just basically the vinyls you choose between, because which looks better and which looks worse. I don't mind the MP Motorsport car. I like the orange and the black, but I have to say the Charus looks nicer. You guys see a very hefty battle here between Delatraz and Nassani, but Nassani at the end of the day gets the best of Delatraz. Now you guys see we head all the way on to lap 27, and we are right behind Robert Schwartzman in the Prema. And now DRS open, heading onto the main straight. We set the fastest lap of the Grand Prix as we chase after Schwartzman. 4 tenths of a second, 3 tenths of a second, and then that's that on the brakes! That's that on the brakes! Stop the car! Stop the car! Ooh! Oh guys, we just keep it on track. That was not me trying to go for a move. That was me avoiding running into Robert Schwartzman. Ooh, okay guys, I was honestly just a little bit late on the brakes there. I misjudged my braking point, and it's a little bit of a miracle that I kept the car on track and did not run into the back of Robert Schwartzman. I think I gave Schwartzman a bit of a heart attack, but it is okay. We are still in P4. We didn't lose the place to Aitken because me and Schwartzman are busy pulling away from Aitken and Armstrong. But you guys can see I've got the grip advantage. I'm really trying to get past Schwartzman, but he is really defending very well, and he keeps getting fantastic traction out of the traction zones like this, where there's a DRS straight right in front of me, but he just gets the exit, even though I'm on better tires. Schwartzman, I'm gonna pronounce his surname wrong so many times. Let's just go with Robert. Robert is just putting that Prema where he needs to, and he's making sure that he has the optimal grip coming out of every traction zone. So Robert is really giving me a hard time here, and this is for a podium, guys. I'm really pushing hard here because I would love to get a podium for my first 2020 F2 race. I'm not gonna lie to you guys, these 100% races, they're long. At this stage, lap 28, I was kind of tired, I'm not gonna lie. We're gonna start lap 29. There's 4 laps to go as we cross the line now. Schwartzman v Matsushita, Prema versus MP Motorsport. DRS is open. It's now or never because Schwartzman, I think, guys, my tires are starting to say goodbye, and he's just gonna have enough to keep ahead of me. Onto the brakes, very late once again into the first corner. We bang a little bit of wheels. He forces me over that massive inside curve. Schwartzman is forced into this next spot. We go for the switchback of dreams, as Arava would say. We are now right behind Schwartzman. We now pull out to the inside, side by side, heading into this next corner. Do we have enough grip to go up the inside of Robert Schwartzman? He hangs around the outside, but we give him the squeeze on the outside, and that is us now up into P3. We are onto the podium, and even right behind us, Jack Aitken and Marcus Armstrong were also fighting hammer and tong. Can Marcus Armstrong get the move done on Jack Aitken? He pulls to the inside just like myself, but does Jack have the grip to hang it around the outside? Let's see, a wheel to wheel isn't going to happen, and Jack actually sticks his nose in there. He defends better than Robert did against me. Here we go. Armstrong has got this. Aitken still has his nose in there, but Armstrong just has the drive as he heads through the S section, and he is ahead of the Campos driver, and that is now Armstrong up into P5. We now jump back to the battle for the wooden spoon between Louis Delatraz and Roy Nassani for P20 on the grid. Delatraz finally gets the move done on Roy Nassani. They are miles behind, but that is a fantastic move there from Louis Delatraz. And guys, we now look at the race leader, Artem Markelov, who after the sequence of pit stops has been untouchable. He starts the final lap of the F2 feature race here at Sakia. You've got Dan Ticktum in P2, myself in P3, still defending from Robert Schwartzman, because like I said when I was busy making the move, guys, my tires were starting to drop off, and these hards are made to go the distance. You guys saw I did 19 laps on those hard tires at the beginning of the race on heavy fuel, and you guys see now how deep these tires can go, and it is, I'm not gonna lie to you guys, at this stage I could feel the wear on the mediums, but I still had enough grip to defend. I just hoped that that Schwartzman wasn't going to go for some other desperate lunge, but it has been a fantastic first race for these F2 cars, and like I said I wouldn't apologize, but I'm going to apologize in any case. Guys, sorry for those 3 little extra video sections in the top right hand corner of your screen that just wasn't timed correctly. Like I said, I don't know what went wrong, but I'll give it a little bit more attention when I do that type of editing, because clearly I did something wrong, and I apologize if that irritated you a bit, but hopefully the racing action kept your eyes glued to the screen, because this has been a fantastic race, especially from my side as I fought backwards from P6, so P7, because I overtook Armstrong, Aitken, and Schwartzman. No, if I was 6, 5, 4. No, I was in P6. Yeah, I was in P6 because now I'm in P3. Beautiful, beautiful. Rounding the final corner is the BWT racing car of Artem Markelov. Number 16, the junior Pink Panther, comes across the line to win the feature race here at Sakia. We are going to take extra points because we have the fastest lap, guys. But Dan Ticktum will take P2, and we are just going to hold on to P3, and we take P3 here in Sakia.
Alright, race over. Take care of the car on the way in.
It was touch and go for a while there, but Arden have done it. Great win. And I have to wonder, Davide Valsecchi, just what set them apart from the competition here.
I think this race was won thanks to the tire management. You have to remember, it's not just about going as fast as you can, it's about consistency. It's about maintaining your speed over an entire race distance. So being able to keep the lap time competitive while still respecting the tires, that's where they won today.
And it's time now for the podium celebrations. And how well deserved is this one? This is a team all about giving talented young drivers an opportunity to race and to win. Arden are your winners here today. And so, driver of you'd go for?
Lots of drivers impressed me today, Alex. But if I have to say one that impressed me most, it's Nobuharu Matsushita.
Goodbye for now then, but we really are just getting started. Make sure you join us again for Lights Out tomorrow.
Guys, what an absolutely fantastic feature race. Guys, we take an extra 2 points. I'm quickly going to explain to you guys how the F2 point system works before I say goodbye. Guys, the guy who tops qualifying in quali gets 4 points to his name. So if you qualify on pole, that's 4 points for your championship. Then you've got the feature race, which works like normal Formula 1 points for the top 10. 25, 18, 15, 12, 10. You guys get the jiffy. But for fastest lap, instead of just getting 1 extra point, you get 2. And then for the feature race, the top 8 finishes in this feature race are swapped around for the sprint race. So I came third. I'm going to start the sprint race in P5. No, in P6. Just to give you guys an idea, the top 8 get swapped around, and then the points in that race are only allocated to the top 8. If you finish in the top 8, and it's also less points. I think first place is 15 points, second place is 12, third place is 10. You guys get the idea. Go Google quickly the F2 point system if you want to have more knowledge about that. And also, fastest lap in the sprint race is also 2 extra points towards your name. But guys, that has been this video. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you so much for staying till the end. Guys, you guys will be getting the sprint race first thing tomorrow on your screens. So please make sure you subscribe, ding that bell to never miss a future episode here. And I'm sure, trust me, just trust me, you don't want to miss that sprint race. It is freaking fantastic. It will be here on YouTube tomorrow, so ding that bell. Check out the links in the description down below. And go follow me on social media. Go check out me and my friend iiTzAssassins' second YouTube channel. Go hit the subscribe there as well. Show some support. And if you share this video with your friends, I will give you a shout out in a future video, as well as on my own personal social media. And finally, if you haven't done it yet, please drop a like down below on the video. It's only going to take you a nifty 2 seconds. And from my side, thank you very much. I highly appreciate it. Guys, it's been fantastic. I'll see you guys tomorrow for the sprint race. I'm super excited. Love you guys, and I'll see you all tomorrow. Cheers!
I made you look.